My fiancée told me, "I'm not bringing you around my rich friends. You'd make me look bad." I responded, "Got it." Then I walked into her upscale country club as the heir to its ownership. I'm 32, male, and I need to share this while it's still raw. My now ex-fiancée, Vanessa Thornton, just got a costly lesson in prejudice and elitism. We were together for 3 years, engaged for half a year. I'm a heavy-duty mechanic, solid work that pays well, but apparently not classy enough for Vanessa's standards. She's in medical device sales, earns a good living, and recently gained entry to an exclusive country club through her boss's recommendation. It's a $50,000 initiation fee and $1,200 monthly dues. The trouble began 2 months ago when she joined. Suddenly, her weekends revolved around the club. Tennis with her new crowd, fancy brunches, cocktail evenings. I didn't mind. That world's not my thing. I'd rather tinker with my '69 Mustang rebuild or go fishing. But then came the conversation that flipped everything. Last Tuesday, she was getting ready for some charity gala at the club. "Vanessa," she said, "I'll be back around 11. Don't stay up. Another event without me? When do I meet these new friends of yours?" She paused mid-mascara, giving me a look. "James, we need to have a serious talk about that." "About what?" "Look, these people are sophisticated. They talk about fine wine and stock portfolios, not engine blocks or fishing holes. And you'd feel out of place. And honestly," she hesitated, picking her words, "you'd embarrass me. Your job, your hobbies, the way you talk. It's too working class for them." I stared at her. 3 years together, living in my house, yes, mine, inherited from my grandmother, fully paid off, wearing the engagement ring I bought, and I'm too embarrassing? Got it. Don't take it like that. I'm sparing you from feeling uncomfortable. No, I understand completely. She left for her gala. I made a call I'd been putting off for years. Here's what Vanessa didn't know. That country club she was so proud of, my father created it. Started as a small golf course in 1985, he grew it into the elite establishment it is now. When he passed 5 years ago, he left it to me and my sister, Elizabeth. I never brought it up because I wanted no part of it. Dad and I had a strained relationship. He thought I was throwing away my potential as a mechanic instead of wearing a tie. We hardly spoke his last decade. Elizabeth handles the operations. I'm a silent partner, signing papers annually and cashing dividend checks, most of which I donate to the local trade school. But after Vanessa's words, I called Elizabeth. "Liz, I need to show up at the club this Saturday." "You're kidding. You haven't been there since Dad's memorial." "Things have changed. There's a charity auction, right? For the kids' hospital." "Yeah. Why? Wait, is this about that woman you're with?" "The new member." Elizabeth approves all memberships and knew exactly who Vanessa was. "I need to make an entrance as myself." "Oh, this'll be fun. Want me to alert the staff you're coming?" "Definitely. Full VIP treatment." Update 1, Saturday came. Vanessa left early to help with the auction setup. I waited until the event was in full swing, then drove up in my '04 Chevy Silverado, the truck she always griped about parking in the driveway. Walking into the club felt strange. The staff knew me instantly. Elizabeth had done her job. The valet nearly tripped over himself to grab my keys. The manager, Thomas, who'd worked for my dad for 2 decades, barely kept his cool. "Mr. Carter, what a surprise. Your sister said you might stop by." "Thomas, good to see you. Place looks fantastic. Shall I take you to the grand ballroom?" "I know the way, but thanks." The ballroom was buzzing, about 200 people in their finest attire. I spotted Vanessa right away, chatting near the bar with a group of women. Laughing. I recognized her boss, Margaret, and some board members' spouses she'd mentioned. Before I could approach, a voice cut through the room. "Jimmy Carter, is that you?" It was Walter Grayson, Dad's closest friend, current board chair, and practically an uncle. He charged over, pulling me into a hug that probably shocked half the room. "Liz said you might show. About time. Ladies and gentlemen, James Carter's here." The room's focus shifted. Murmurs spread. The Carter name means something here. Walter paraded me around, reintroducing me to folks I hadn't seen in years. Board members, old money families, people who knew me as a kid sneaking onto the golf course. Every introduction was, "You remember Tom's son, James? He owns the place now." Then I saw Vanessa. She'd gone pale, her wineglass frozen mid-sip. Margaret was talking to her, but Vanessa just stared at me. I walked over, Walter still at my side. "Margaret, great to see you again." "James, I had no idea you were— Wait, you two know each other? Vanessa spoke up. This is my fiancé. The silence was heavy. Margaret's eyes widened. The women around us exchanged glances, piecing it together. Walter, bless him, made it worse. Fiancé? Jimmy, you didn't say you were engaged, and to a new member. Vanessa, you've landed a good one. The Carters practically built this place. Vanessa stammered. I need some air. She bolted to the terrace. I didn't follow. I enjoyed the auction, bid $20,000 on a Napa Valley getaway for the hospital. Not for me, for the cause. I had real conversations with people she thought were too elite for me. Turns out they were curious about my work. One guy restores vintage cars and grilled me about engine rebuilds. Another wanted tips on buying a yacht. Rich folks have hobbies too. Vanessa texted me nonstop. We need to talk now. This isn't funny. You lied to me. James, please, stop ignoring me. I didn't reply. I was too busy chatting with Margaret, who revealed Vanessa had described me as in logistics, and was pushing for introductions to the club's big names. She said you were shy in social settings, Margaret said. Did she know who you were? Not your fault. People reveal themselves eventually. Update 2. I left the auction around 10 p.m. Vanessa's car was gone, but she was at my house, pacing the living room. 3 years, James. You hid this for 3 years. I didn't hide anything. You never asked. That's nonsense. You let me think you were just a mechanic. I am a mechanic. I fix heavy engines. That's my career. You own a country club. I inherited a quarter of it. Elizabeth has another quarter, and the trust holds the rest. I don't manage it. I barely think about it. Do you know how humiliated I am? I told everyone my fiancé wouldn't fit in, and you're basically their landlord. You're humiliated? You said I'd embarrass you because of my job. That was before I knew. And that's the issue, Vanessa. She tried everything. Tears, apologies, accusations. Said I'd tricked her, that she'd failed a test, that it wasn't fair I hadn't told her. Maybe she had a point about the test, but I didn't plan to trap her. I just wanted to be loved for who I am, not my inheritance. You know what stings? I said. If you just introduced me as your mechanic fiancé, no one would have cared. Walter knew my job. Thomas knew. They respect honest work. The only one who thought I was embarrassing was you. You were protecting your image, not us. She switched tactics, soft voice, pleading eyes. We can move past this. We're still getting married in 4 months. This changes nothing. It changes everything. You showed me who you are. I showed you who I am. We're not getting married. You're ending this over one comment? Over you not respecting me or my work. Take off the ring, Vanessa. She lost it. Screamed about the wedding deposits we'd lose, her parents booked flights, how I was ruining her life. I'll cover the deposits, I said. Your parents can use the tickets for a trip. You ruined your own life when you decided I wasn't good enough for your new crowd. I'm not giving the ring back. It's mine. Keep it. Call it payment for 3 years of pretending to be someone you're not. She threw it at me anyway and stormed out, tires screeching. Sunday morning. 27 missed calls from Vanessa, 12 from her mom, Patricia, and about 50 texts ranging from apologies to insults to pleas for reconciliation. Then Margaret called. James, Vanessa's out at the company. She was using her club connections to mislead clients, promising introductions she couldn't deliver. That's not just personal, it's unethical. Karma works fast sometimes. Update 3. The entitlement kept escalating. Monday, Patricia showed up at my shop in her silver BMW, looking out of place among the grease and tools. We need to talk like adults. I'm working, Patricia. Vanessa's heartbroken. She had to move back home. Do you realize what you've done to her reputation? She said I was too embarrassing for her friends. She didn't know who you were. So it's fine to disrespect me if I'm just a mechanic? Patricia tried to negotiate like it was a merger. Offered a prenup, said Vanessa would learn to value me, even suggested therapy. She's not getting back in, I said. Please leave before I call security. She left, fuming. Tuesday, Elizabeth called. You won't believe this. Vanessa tried to book the grand ballroom for your wedding, claiming you'd reconciled and wanted it as a romantic surprise. Cancel it. Done. But I also revoked her membership. She racked up $8,000 in food and drinks over the weekend, saying it was for a Carter family event, and you'd approved it. The nerve was unreal. She was spending money she thought I had. Wednesday brought a new twist. Vanessa's ex, Travis, messaged me on LinkedIn. Dude, heard about you and Vanessa. She did the same to me 2 years ago. Found out my family owned strip malls and suddenly wanted to reconnect. When I refused, she faked a pregnancy scare. Be careful. I screenshot it and sent it to my lawyer friend, just in case. Thursday was the climax. Vanessa showed up at the club during a women's golf event. Elizabeth called me. Security's got her at the gate. She's claiming she's still your fiancée and demanding entry. I drove over. Vanessa was arguing with the guard, crying, causing a scene in front of members. James, thank God. Tell them who I am. I know who you are. A former member who's no longer allowed here. You can't do this. I have friends here. They can meet you elsewhere. This is illegal. I paid my dues. Elizabeth stepped in. Your membership was through Margaret's corporate sponsorship. Since you're no longer employed there and committed fraud against the club, it's terminated. You'll get a refund for your personal contribution. $0. The growing crowd whispered. Some recorded. Vanessa's curated persona was collapsing publicly. I'll sue, she cried. For emotional distress. Breach of promise. You proposed to me, and you said I was too embarrassing. That proposal's off the table. Desperate, she shouted. I'm pregnant. The crowd gasped. I laughed. No, you're not. How would you know? We haven't been intimate in 2 months. You've been too busy with your club life. Plus, Travis warned me you'd pull this. Her fake tears turned to fury. You're all seeing this abuse. He's humiliating me. Walter stepped in. Ma'am, you're trespassing. Leave, or we'll call the police. She left, screaming, You'll regret this, James. I'll make sure everyone knows who you really are. Final update. 3 weeks post-confrontation, the fallout hit Vanessa hard. Her gate scene was filmed and posted on TikTok with the caption, Gold digger learns her mechanic fiancé owns the country club she kept him from. It got 2.3 million views locally. Vanessa tried to spin it on Instagram, claiming she was manipulated by a deceptive man. No one bought it. Comments tore her apart. You called him embarrassing, but you're the snob. Fumbled a whole fortune, lol. Her social standing in our mid-sized city? Ruined. Patricia called, begging me to stop it. I told her I wasn't doing anything. Vanessa's actions had consequences. Professionally, it got worse. Margaret warned others in their industry about Vanessa's shady tactics. She couldn't land another sales job. Last I heard, she's selling herbal supplements for an MLM, posting about empowered recovery. The ring? She tried to pawn it but learned it wasn't worth what she thought. I'd bought it from a jeweler friend, gorgeous, but lab-grown diamonds and white gold, not platinum. Cost me $3,000. She expected $30,000. Another misjudgment. The unexpected silver lining? Elizabeth and I have grown closer. We started weekly dinners talking about Dad, the club, and things we'd avoided. She got me to advise on a new trade school program at the club, helping kids learn skilled trades. I met someone new at the technical college where I teach engine repair. Sarah's a metalworking instructor, doesn't care about country clubs, and loves my truck. When I told her the story on our 3rd date, she nearly spit out her drink laughing. So she thought you weren't good enough for her fancy friends? But you own the place? Quarter own. But yeah, that's the best karma I've ever heard. Tell me someone recorded it. I showed her the TikTok. She watched it 3 times, cackling. When she says she's pregnant, and you just say, no, you're not? Iconic. We've been dating 2 months. She came to the club for Elizabeth's birthday dinner, wearing jeans and a nice top, chatting with everyone like equals. Walter was obsessed with her restored '76 Jeep by the end of the night. He pulled me aside. This one's different, Jimmy. She sees you, not your wallet. He's right. Sarah doesn't care about the inheritance or the club. She likes that I make her laugh, fixed her mom's lawnmower for free, and volunteer at the local pet rescue. Vanessa made one last attempt. A long email about her growth and how she deserves another shot. Said she's in therapy, doubtful, and loved me for me. Not my money, bigger doubt. She even wrote, I'm willing to forgive your deception if you forgive my mistakes. The audacity. I didn't reply, just forwarded it to Elizabeth, who laughed until she cried. The nerve of this woman, she said. Vanessa did me a favor. If she hadn't shown her true self over the club, I might have married her. Tied to someone who saw me as lesser until she learned about the money. That's not love, that's a deal. Now I'm with someone who'd date me even if I was just a mechanic scraping by. Because that's who I am at heart. A guy who loves fixing engines, restoring cars, and fishing on weekends. The inheritance is just numbers I rarely touch. The club? I only go for family events or charity nights. But when I do show up in my jeans and work boots, people respect me. Not for my dad's legacy, but because they saw what happens when someone doesn't. Vanessa's still posting about her journey and playing the victim. But everyone knows the truth. She thought she was climbing the social ladder, only to find she'd been with her winning ticket all along. As Sarah says, karma's not always fast, but when it hits, it's glorious. Couldn't agree more.